It's Newcastle United away up next, and that means two things. One, you're going to have to drive a hell of a long way if you're coming up from down south. And secondly, you're probably going to get either altitude sickness or nosebleed seats. Well, you're definitely getting nosebleed seats because you're going way high up. Just imagine like you're sitting on top of that thing there. Then you'll feel like you're in Newcastle's away end. Or just put a ladder in your house and put your laptop on the ground and you'll feel like you're in Newcastle's away end. No real difference. A game of mass importance for West Ham because it will give us an opportunity to try and get further away from the bottom half of the table, but it's not going to be easy. The first main reason why this won't be easy is because of events on West Ham's side. Mexican international defensive midfielder Edson Alvarez is suspended for 2 games, having picked up 10 yellow cards this season. And this means that Calvin Phillips is likely to get the start in Newcastle and for next week's game against Tottenham. If anything, it means that Phillips really has to now stand up and be counted. He's made 4 appearances so far for Claret and Blue, and he has yet to really show how he can be as a player. I'm convinced that he's still not the same Phillips as 5 years ago. I feel as though he's fallen off quite a lot, and he's definitely not fully fit. This guy has not received enough playing time, and in order to try and get back to regular fitness, he's going to have to get some minutes under his belt. Starting against Newcastle and Tottenham's going to be a big ask for him. Can he withstand that pressure? I really hope so. We're going up against a Newcastle team that is plagued by injuries. You can make an episode of Casualty in Alby City. The amount of injuries and hospitalizations these players have had. Recently, teenager Lewis Miley has just been confirmed to be sidelined for the game. And there's like 8 players they've got that are out now. I think Callum Wilson's not going to play because he's injured. I know that it's going to be very hard for them to make up the numbers. And the injuries have really cost Newcastle's form. They've won 3 in the last 7 games, which is bad in comparison to how they started the season. And the chances of them getting Europe fade away now with every loss. We've got now, 8-9 games until the end of the season. And if they can't get points now, they're not going to get points later on. And that's going to put more pressure on Eddie Howe because his job is already kind of on the line anyway. He's been under pressure for the second half of the season because of bad form. Newcastle fans have sometimes called for his head. But honestly, if he did get sacked at the end of the season and Moyes' contract was not renewed, I'd take Eddie Howe at West Ham. I really would take him. Because he's not a mug manager. He's a good coach. Experienced. And very, very modern in his ways. The investments helped Newcastle to get to where it's been and reach the dizzy heights of playing Champions League giants. But the domestic league is what's going to have to count if they want the European football to continue for next season. For West Ham, it's another test to see who can actually play well. I've already mentioned Calvin Phillips. Is James Ward-Prowse possibly going to get a knock and start in this game? Who knows? He's got to as well show that he's not just a set-piece merchant. He's got to do more in the actual game rather than just put in a few corners and try a few free kicks. I also want our defenders to be a little bit more focused, especially Zuma. Souček is not going to worry me too much. He's been playing really well. Kudus, Bowen, Paquetá, Antonio needs to get at this defence. I believe Fabian Schär's injured as well, isn't he? If he is, then that's a big blow to Newcastle defence. It's either Schär... No, it's Botman. Botman's the one that's injured. And he's one of their best players. We're going to be playing a weakened defence and a weakened attack. If we can't get 3 points against this lot, then what's the point of living?